And we have specific paper presentation by Abdul Sattar, our former Secretary General. And we have special guest from the Bangladesh, Tawfiq Imruz Khaledi, Chief Editor of BD News 24 and a former BBC journalist. I just want to welcome you all from the London Bangla Press Club. And I'm just requesting our President, Syed Nahas Pasha, the Chief Editor of the Jonomot. He will just introduce the event. Thank you.
Good evening. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome everybody to the event of 100 years of Bengali media in UK. Firstly, I thank you, London Borough of Hamlets, for facilitating this event for us. Especially Ruxana has really worked hard with her team to organize this for us. This is part of the Bengali drama season. We thought we take this opportunity to have a slot for us. That's why, although it's a smaller event in a smaller scale, I can see a lot of friends here and a lot of journalist colleagues here. And we all know that, it's actually 101 years now of the Bengali media. And we thought we have got a presentation by our former Secretary General and journalist Sattar Bhai, Muhammad Abdul Sattar. You all know him. He will have a brief about the Bengali media. We have got a special guest here who has traveled all the way from Bangladesh. A lot of you probably know him, or you probably don't know him, but you know the bdnews24.com. Tawfiq Imruz Khaledi is the publisher, editor-in-chief, and co-owner of the Bangladeshi newspaper media group bdnews24.com. Khaledi has national and international standings as a journalist, media executive, and commentator. Khaledi acquired experience of journalism at major broadsheet newspaper in Bangladesh, both in editorial as well as managerial capacities, and for a period was a presenter, producer, and editor at BBC in the UK. He was educated and trained in Dhaka, London, Paris, and Tokyo. As a broadcast, print, and digital journalist in Bangladesh and abroad, he has covered business, politics, economics, development, and foreign affairs, among other subjects. Khaledi supports press independence and has publicly spoken of bdnews24.com's commitment to steering clear of political partisanship. Critically acclaimed for the highest standards of professionalism, integrity, and ethical journalism, bdnews24.com is a first of its kind venture, being the first internet-only news gathering operation in Bangladesh and one of the first in the world. The 24/7 news publisher draws on the resources of over 500 journalists and photographers around Bangladesh and beyond. It has the greatest number of visitors of any Bangladeshi news outlet, and in May 2015, it had 6.6 million readers, unique visitors. According to Google Analytics, this was higher than any other news outlet in Bangladesh, online or in print, in English or Bengali. bdnews24.com had a total of 720 million page views during 2015. Google Analytics has tracked bdnews24.com visitors from 235 countries and territories across the world. The reason I have introduced him because all of us who mainly work on print media as well as now with the digital media and television station as well as radio stations. The challenge the Bangla media facing nowadays in UK, especially print media, is declining, and there are new online medias coming. So I thought it would be appropriate to listen from Mr. Khaledi that how we can face this challenge, especially with the print media in UK with the digital challenges in front of us. All of us know that the print media in this country are The print editions are declining. Guardian is asking for donations. Independent has gone online. But other newspaper has paywall. You have to pay to read other newspapers. In Bangladesh, also the print editions are, people are reading more and more online on the mobiles and everything. So it would be appropriate for all of us to, later on ask question about how BD News succeed, how we can, go forward. There are quite a few online already in UK. And I'm not going to say much more. I'm handing over to our former General Secretary, Abdus Sattar, to make a presentation, and afterwards we'll ask Mr. Khalidi to do a presentation, and later on there will be question and answers. You can ask any question to the panel or anything, and I hope you enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Riaz Bhai. Thank you, Jubair and Tawfiq Bhai as well. And thanks to everyone to be here in this occasion in the event. And I feel privileged that London Bangla Press Club has asked me to, present this paper, describing the journey throughout 100 years from 1916. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to commemorate the centenary of Bengali media in the UK together with you tonight. The academics, public representatives, officials, media, and people from all walks of life who have joined with us this evening demonstrates the appreciations Bengali media receives from the community in this country. It's appropriate that we jubilantly celebrate what has been achieved over the last 100 years in the field of journalism by the immigrant Bengali community in this country. Our celebration articulates respect and gratitude for our forerunners. As we celebrate the Bengali media's achievements tonight, we in turn celebrate the achievements of many committed journalists and publishers, as well as the readers from the Bangladeshi ethnicity. Without their contributions throughout a century, the Bengali media wouldn't have the position of strength achieved that it currently had. We all feel very proud of the challenges they did undertake and the contributions they made. I wish to make it clear that the paper I am going to present now is not an extensive account of all the Bengali print, electronic, or online media publications in the UK and their specific roles during the last 100 years. I'm going to mention the names of some of those publications which have made some remarkable contributions in different eras in order to serve the wider cause and the community. We know that the fortnightly Shotovani was the first newspaper published in Bengali from the UK. That was the beginning of the historical journey of Bengali media in this country. It was published on 1st November 1916. We do not have any information about the editor or the publisher of this publication. During the period of turbulent First World War, this newspaper covered news in 3 languages, prioritizing Bengali. The paper's positive coverage of Britain has led many to assume that the publication may have been backed by the British government or supported by a British organization. The publication was one of a kind as it targeted Indians, which at the time included Bengalis living in Britain. The pioneer Bengali newspaper came to an end on 22nd of February 1918. After 22 years of Shottobani, another Bengali newspaper was published in the UK, namely Jagat Barta. This second Bengali newspaper was published on 18 October 1940. It was the first Bengali news weekly published from Britain. As I mentioned, that the very first news publication, it was fortnightly, the Shottobani. Between the 40s and 60s of the last century, some more weekly and fortnightly had been published from the UK, including Desher Dag by Tasadduk Ahmed, which was closed down after 9 years of publications in 1964. Many of those newspapers didn't survive longer, mainly because of financial disadvantage and organizational flaws. It was during the last part of 60s and the early part of 70s, the publication of Bengali print media shot up to the next stage with some significant accomplishments. The movement for the autonomy had gained momentum during the later part of 1960s in erstwhile East Pakistan, a part of then Pakistan, homeland of the Bengalis living in Britain. Bengalis' struggle for self-determination from Pakistan's domination reached at peak during 1968-69. The expatriates of Bengali origin were worried about the events going on in their motherland. They were longing for the accurate news about the state of affairs from their country. To fulfill this aspiration, some young Bengali activists took the initiative, and on 21st of February 1969, they began the publication of weekly Janamat from London. Janamat had played a significant role during this distraught period, and later in 1971, when the Bangladesh War of Liberation began. Janamat is the longest survived Bengali news weekly in this country, which is now in its 49th year. Weekly Shurma was published in 1978, and for the last 39 years, this news weekly is also serving the community without any disruption. Like Janamat, Weekly Shurma has also achieved a huge readership. Weekly Patrika is the first and only broadsheet Bengali news weekly published in this country. It has been in publication since 2002. In 2002, the Daily Bangladesh was published from London, but it didn't sustain long. Later, the editor turned it in Weekly Bangladesh, but that also didn't last for a longer period. Amongst the Bengali news weeklies in the UK, the following titles are still in circulation: Weekly Janamat, Shurma, Patrika, Bangla Post, Weekly Desh, and Bangla Songlap. Most of these news weeklies are being distributed to the readers free. Two English language weeklies were also published by Bengali origin news persons from London. One is Weekly Bangla Mirror. It is still in circulation, but the other one, the Muslim Weekly, ceased its publication. There were two free bi-monthly restaurants magazine in publications over 15 years. Spice Business was first published in 1988 and Curry Life in 2003. Let me mention here names of some of the new, now defunct Bengali news weeklies, which had one time played significant role for the community. Weekly Desher Dak, published by prominent community leader and political activist late Tasadduq Ahmed. Weekly Jagoran, Bangla Dak, Prabashi, Deshbarta, Notun Desh, Purbo Desh, Euro Bangla, Sileter Dak, London Bangla, and Bangla Times. Apart from the Bengali print media, the electronic and online media brought by Bengali origin journalists are also on rise in the UK. In 1999, the first Bengali satellite TV channel, Bangla TV, was founded in the UK. Another Bengali TV channel, Channel S, was established in 2005. Ikra Bangla and TV1 are also UK-based satellite channels. There is a new channel being launched recently called ION. Subsequently, some Bangladeshi TV channels have also opened their UK outlet. Amongst them are ATN Bangla, Channel I, and NTV Europe. Betar Bangla is the only radio station run by Bengali news persons in the UK which broadcasts 24 hours program. Majority of the Bengali publications and electronic online outlets have offices in town hamlets from where they serve British Bangladeshi across the nation, but some of the Bengali media are based in other cities as well. Bengali newspapers have been a strong voice against racism and discrimination, helping make readers aware of their rights. It's the Bengali news weeklies that took stand along with people from all communities against the surge in racism in East London during 70s and 80s. Due to their united stand, the community achieved success to rename a park in East London after the name of Altabali, a young Bangladeshi immigrant who was murdered by the racist attackers inside the park. The Bengali print media had also played a successful role to erect a memorial at Altabali Park to commemorate the language martyrs of Bangladesh. Boishakhi Mela, best attended celebrations of Bengali New Year in the UK at Brick Lane and at the around adjacent areas. In East London, has been flourished with explicit support from the Bengali media. It was a long time dreams of the Bengali community in the UK to send their representative to the British Parliament, and all Bengali media campaigned in support of this along. Finally, this goal has been achieved. The Bengali media has also played a key part to get first and second generation British Bangladeshis involved in mainstream politics so that they can integrate and contribute more to the wider society. If we look into the reality now prevailing surrounding the Bengali media, the picture is depressing. The competition from the TV channel severely obstructed the growth of the Bengali print media. In the age of internet, people literally are being updated every second. They do not have to wait for a full week to read a weekly newspaper to get to know about everything they are interested in. A significant number of Bengali newspaper readers are still not computer literate, so they are not inclined to go online, but they can easily follow the news on Bengali TV channels and get the information they need from one or other channel. We are going through a sort of transition. With the hard-hitting online expansion. Even the mainstream daily newspapers are struggling about how to contain the downward trend in the business at risk from the online news portals. In this situation, it's truly difficult to continue with the Bengali news weeklies, especially where the readership is limited and also shrinking. Usually, most of the new generation British Bangladeshis are not fluent in standard Bengali. Literally, they are not familiar with reading Bengali. So they are not readers of the Bengali weeklies that we produce. The older generation and comparatively some young educated people came for higher study or to join with the spouse are still the readers of Bengali newspapers, but their numbers are declining. A young person on study or coming to join with the family is normally expected to be computer literate, so they can easily go online and surf as many as mainstream Bengali newspaper they want to read. Again, there are some problems also with the TV channels. Because of the differences in time zones, the UK channels are not able to broadcast a real-time news originated in Bangladesh. So there is a gap in between. So any willing and able viewer can choose to go online and get the news in real time. However, on TV, you are getting the visual presentation which you are not able to get from the online newspapers. Though nowadays many news portals also use video clips, but surely there are differences. Those doesn't carry the flavor of continuity like TV, so you can expect some viewers still opt to switch on to the TV. There are financial implications as well. The revenue for the Bengali news weeklies already hit the rock bottom. Most advertisers are not interested to provide display or classified advert on print media now. They better choose mainly TV channels because of having the opportunities of a nationwide audience, which doesn't match surely the weekly's audience. We need to bear in mind that though the Bengali community in the UK is growing, it is still not matching the other South Asian communities in Britain in terms of business prosperity and financial strength. So to generate income from the community business or trade is also not an easy option in a declining condition. And the revenues for the weeklies from the subscriptions are also almost nil. People can watch the TV channels free of charge. The reality is that they are not interested to become paid subscribers anymore. Still, it's not the time to say that for the Bengali print media, the days are over. Globally, newspaper publishers have responded on various fronts to address challenges in their core markets. Nearly everywhere, format sizes have been reduced, pagination decreased, and frequency changed, for example, from daily to weekly. These cost-cutting measures have been amplified by outright closure of titles, consolidation of print operations, and staff reductions, including the frontline journalists. Newspaper publishers have experimented with a range of new products and services, including loyalty clubs, specialist retail offerings like music and books, etc. For their online propositions, publishers have increasingly tested a range of business models, from full-blown paywalls around newspaper content online to payments for portability via tablets, in particular, to ad-funded access. From not so a strong position, we are not sure to say how the Bengali print media faces the challenges coming out from the global transformation of news businesses, maybe the need to change the business model, revenue model, or something still different. This is the most difficult issue that the Bengali media is facing in 100 years of its journey in this country and elsewhere. We are sure about it. And it used to be said that freedom of the press is limited to those who own one. Today, anyone with an internet connection and a Twitter account can make the news if you choose the powers that be are with you. For anyone interested in reporting the world, finding stories, telling stories, sharing stories, it's all become so much more possible. We are living at the most exciting time for journalism since the advent of television. By 2025, most people in the UK will likely get their television programs over the internet. By 2030, possibly everyone will. The TV aerial will have gone the way of the typewriter. In our centenary year, we are deliberately looking for not just back, but first and foremost ahead to the future, the next 100 years. Nobody knows what the next 100 years will bring. Increasingly, in a world of infinite information online, where a rumor can travel the globe in the time it takes to type 140 characters, people need to know what they can trust. We are told that we have now entered the post-truth era, where presentation can override facts, where it can be hard to separate truth from conjecture. The job of the news is to keep everyone informed, to enable us to be better citizens, equipped with what we need to know. In the exciting, uneven, and noisy internet age, the need for news, accurate and fair, insightful and independent, is greater than ever. Thank you.
Thank you, Sattar Bhai, for your kind words and hard work on this presentation. Thank you. And we'll have now the special guest. Let's welcome Mr. Tawfiq Imroz Khaledi, Chief Editor of bdnews24.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, organizers. Good evening to everyone. I'm really excited and delighted to be here today. I'm excited to be part of this celebration. 100 years is a long time. Very few people live 100 years. It's truly an honor to be part of this celebration as you mark 100 years of your work in the community media. And I'd like to thank the London Bangla Press Club, the President, Secretary, and the entire committee for giving me the opportunity. I think this is a unique opportunity for me to be here today. Last night I had the chance to go through a wonderful piece of research on the evolution of the Bengali community media in the United Kingdom. And I learned so much from the exercise. More than 100 years ago, a gentleman called Bipin Chandra Pal, who was a celebrated Bengali orator who came from Sylhet, mooted the idea of a mouthpiece for the Indian community in the UK. That was 1908, and his publication was to be in English, not in Bangla. And he was the first to publish a periodical called Swaraj, or Swaraj in Bangla, if you pronounce it in Bangla. And the very title itself was good enough to illustrate its editorial policy. The first copy was out on the 27th of February, 1909, with Bipin Pal's son as the editor. Swaraj or self-rule did not live long. 2 years later, we are told by a researcher, Mahbub Rahman, Bipin Paul came up with another title, The Indian Student. The second venture by Mr. Paul did not survive its second edition because of obvious reasons. The colonial British government seized the copies of the second edition of The Indian Student because it did not like the content, which was no doubt against the British occupation of India. 5 years after the death of these two publications came a new news outfit, Shottobani. And I'm sure you all know about the history of Shottobani. Shottobani began its journey in November 1916. This is all borrowed knowledge. I learned it all last night, thanks to that wonderful research by Mahbub Rahman, which Nahaz Bhai so kindly forwarded to me. In the middle of the night, of course. Shottobani was published in 3 languages: Bengali, Hindi, and English. And of course, the paper's content did not live up to its title, towing the line of the British Raj, and had nothing of the boldness as its pioneering predecessor, Swaraj or the Indian Student. In less than 14 months, the paper, with its content pandering to the British Raj, died. It was pandering to the British Raj, so it did not survive. So editorial policy mattered even in those days. 2 decades later, the first Bengali weekly newspaper was born, but with an editorial policy that put the Bengalis to shame, like its immediate past venture, Shottobani. In the following 2 decades, probably a dozen or so newspapers or periodicals came up. But another decade was needed for the community to give birth to its longest surviving newspaper. 48 years on, Janamat is still alive and kicking. Many congratulations to the current owners and managers and editors of Janamat. It was born on the 14th of February in 1969. I look forward to be a part of the celebrations. 21st of February, thanks for correcting me. It was born on the 21st of February, 1969. And I look forward to being part of its Golden Jubilee celebrations in less than 2 years' time. I hope you'll remember me. Half of this 100-year history of the Bengali media is dominated by this one newspaper. And one notices that developments back home, I say that home because even if someone has lived 50 years here in London, they still prefer to call their home in Bangladesh, in Sylhet, in Dhaka, or in other places home. They go back again and again. So developments back home have had a bearing on the editorial policies of all these newspapers. In pre-1947 days, editors were on the both sides of the divide. The trend continued in the 1947-1971 period when Bangladesh was being conceived, going through a very painful process of birth. And today, after 46, 47 years or so, I mean since 1971, Bangladesh's highly polarized society has had its impact on the community media. Although the community media landscape has undergone a massive transformation thanks to technological developments. Television has done remarkably well for a size of the Bengali community in the United Kingdom. There are 7 television channels, if I'm not wrong. 7 television channels for such a small community, and part of the reason was explained by Mr. Sattar in his wonderful presentation. And the first one, starting its operation 18 years ago. In 1999, probably, the Bengali community here in UK had its first television channel. And I hear a lot about that famous radio station. I don't remember the name. What's Spectrum Betar Bangla, yeah. So radio has at its time too. But today is the age of the internet. And as you will see, my voice changes when I talk about internet. Today is the age of the internet, yes. He's nodding in agreement because the gentleman runs a television channel on internet, internet-based TV. So, LBTV 24. And I know this program is being broadcast live on his channel. And I have no complaint that so many outlets, online-based outlets, have followed our business model that we began molding 11 years ago in Bangladesh. I would like you to go farther and set new standards for us to follow. Would like to learn from you. Many years ago, we talked about convergent media as internet-based content swept the world. Then came the social media, attracting a staggering number of people into the virtual world. They socialize there, they eat there, they dine there, they quarrel there, they discuss everything on internet, on social media now. I know a lot of people, their habits, their characters, their attitudes, their political affiliation because of Facebook or their postings on social media. So, there's another challenge for us. The social media has brought about this user-generated content. It's posing new challenges for us, the mainstream media. We claim ourselves to be mainstream media. Unfortunately, we do not see much of responsible behavior, which in the long run, I believe, will affect social media user-generated content. Tougher regulations, I must warn everyone involved in the media. That's what I try to do in Bangladesh as well. Tougher regulations will restrict the unlimited freedom enjoyed by the rogue content creator with an aim to malign or defame individuals or institutions or even faithfuls. Even the amateur citizen journalist with all the good intentions will suffer because of them. Because if some people are rogue, some people are not, people suffer across the board. People across the board suffer. So there is no alternative to being careful and responsible. We must be very careful and responsible when we are putting up content on the internet. Content, be it news outlet, or even your, if it's your personal Facebook account. Because many of us have Facebook accounts with a significant number of followers. And some of these Facebookers or these Facebook accounts have bigger numbers than some of the big newspapers. So you must be very careful, or else a carb on our freedom is on the cards. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm willing to take questions if there's any, because the organizer said there'll be a question-answer session. Thank you.
Thank you, Tawfiq Bhai, for your nice and informative presentation. Now we will have the question-answer session. You can ask any question to the panel, and we will welcome just a brief comment also. Thank you. Little Bhai, you have the microphone there. Little Bhai, Little Bhai.
Thank you, Press Club leaders, to organize this very important event. And Khalidi Bhai, you are here. We are really very happy to see you here. As your portal is not only leading, is very important in different dimensions. I have two questions. One question is, what is your experience last couple of years, because you are almost leading in this sector, in terms of financial scenario, because print media and electronic media in Dhaka also, they are also suffering some revenue crisis, and in terms of expenditure and income, there is a big gap. So what is your experience? There is no NRB officers here, so no problem at all.
No problem, no problem.
Number two, in Bangladesh, actually, who is regulating our media? What authority?
Very
Once upon a
important
time,
question.
when I was in Dhaka, at the time, I have seen that Press Council of Bangladesh. Last couple of years, last 10 years, we did not heard anything about Press Council. There are so many character assassination stories. There are so many fabricated stories. There are so many, and people always criticizing us, yellow journalism or something like that. Whatever it is, I don't know. I don't accept all the criticism, because there are some very particular people, they are doing something for particular reason. But there are some common stories we have seen, and regulation or it is very important for us, because still it is going on and enjoying too much power. Who is regulating in Bangladesh? Thank you.
All right. Let me try to address the first question. Financially, media in general in Bangladesh is suffering because we've grown too big. We've expanded so much. We've got, we used to have initially 40 years ago, 3, 4, 5 banks, then suddenly we started having private banks. Now we have 50, 60, 70, I don't really count anymore banks. Then we have 50, 60, 70 insurance companies. We have so many. We've had 29 or 30 television channels operational, all of them doing news, which is unheard of in any other country. 20 more are coming up, probably. And I don't really try to follow. And to be honest, not to offend my friends and colleagues from television media, I do not watch TV in Bangladesh. When I walk into my newsroom, I'm forced to take a look. And yes, but I don't really enjoy watching TV anymore. I'm a news junkie, I'm a TV junkie. When I lived in this country, I used to watch News 24, almost 24/7. And any kind of a program would be my, no one could move me from, from the lounge, I'm all the time I used to watch TV, but in Bangladesh, I don't enjoy watching TV. So there are too many television channels. There are too many newspapers with a poor circulation, declining circulation. Not many people know about that, but some people are aware of that television circulation is declining in Bangladesh. And then there's this thing, internet-based media. We're one in 2006. Now, the Director General of one of the very important government agencies tells me that the number is now 4,000. All you have to do is spend $10 and buy a domain name and copy-paste it from us or anywhere and run a news portal. So, but the size of that advertisement pie has not grown that big. proportionately, it hasn't grown proportionately. So too many claimants to the pie. So the competition is not very healthy in Bangladesh, and there is corruption everywhere. And if we are one of the most corrupt countries in the world, let's admit that it's a fact. If we are one of the most corrupt countries in the world, why do you expect that people in the media are not corrupt? A lot of people in the media are also corrupt. A lot of people in the media buying industry is also corrupt. There are hundreds of crores turnover in the media buying industry, and there is corruption. And there is under-the-table transaction. So it's very difficult to survive. First thing is, there is not enough money to feed all these television channels, all these newspapers, all these news outlets based on internet-based news outlets. Then there is corruption. So it's very difficult for people with some integrity to survive in such a situation. It's getting worse, but your second question, I would have probably answered your second question without being asked, because that is linked to your first question. To sort out this mess, we need proper regulation. When I talked about regulation 5-6 years ago on our 5th anniversary, at the 5th anniversary dinner, annual dinner, we have an annual dinner every year. A lot of people misunderstood me. The bloggers started campaigning against me, and one of my colleagues also lost a few things in translating my statements in English. Actually, I had warned people that we have to be responsible. We have to be very careful. We just cannot publish anything. So, for example, bloggers. Some of the bloggers are not really doing enough research before making certain observations. And some people think, who run online outlets and even television channels, there's such a competition for TRP, for eyeballs, as they say in the television industry, that they put up anything that they get. They have to be first. But my point is, it's important to be accurate. It's more important to be accurate than being first. For example, I keep telling my colleagues, I don't mind being second or third or fourth, but I have to be accurate all the time. That's why BD News 24 is more credible. We believe that's our strength. So, government or the state has failed to regulate the media. When we talk about regulation, some people misunderstand us. They think we're talking about control. No, we're not talking about control. I'll be the last person to advocate control by the state of the media. So regulation is important. When we fail to behave properly, we have on so many occasions. For example, when this thing happened in Bangladesh in February 2009, this mutiny on the BDR campus, 25th and 26th of February 2009, just weeks into a new government taking over. Some of the television channels broadcast it live. You couldn't, I'm sure you live in this country, you know the standards in this country, broadcast standards. You wouldn't be, no British television channel would ever imagine doing that. When I used to work for the BBC, we had this guideline. You cannot even publish the name of a soldier who died in the battlefield unless it's cleared by the Ministry of Defense. Because a senior officer will go meet the family, inform them, and then the public will come to know about it. Because the family, the authorities here do not want the family to know from the media, know about the demise or the death of a very dear one from the media. What did we do in Bangladesh? Television channels were running scrolls, tickers, giving the names of the dead, and then going to interview the family members of the dead. How do you feel now? Asking them questions like that. So we have a serious problem. This extraordinary growth of the media is not good for us. It has created a financial crisis, and government or the state or the ministers have not shown any inclination, any desire, any intention to try to put in place a proper regulatory mechanism. I have personally spoken with ministers the previous information ministers. I have spoken with the current information minister. I have appeared on television channel, on live TV. I have argued with him why we need a proper regulatory machine, a regulatory mechanism to regulate the media. Not for, we don't need one media for print, one for internet, one for television. No, there's one media. If you defame me, writing in a newspaper, it's the same as defaming me if you are broadcasting on TV. So we have different kinds of laws, and there's a law for the internet. You get 3 years for if you defame me through your newspaper article. You get 7 years if you do it through internet. This is strange. This is peculiar. This is not acceptable. So regulation is the key. Thank you.
So there is no regulation at all?
No regulation at all.
Thank you. My question, can you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah.
My question is about the recent law that was passed in Bangladesh. It's called Article 57 or Section 57, ICT Section 57. So this has been used in many ways, and some people allege that this has not been used to uphold the values of people's freedom and everything. It was more as a tool, has been used as a tool to suppress voices that are not supporting the authorities, whoever they are. What is your position as a journalist and your organization as a publishing organization on this law? Thank you.
This is part of a law called this ICT Act. This is Article 57. Personally, I believe we need clauses like that. But having said that, I would also say this has been abused to such an extent by the people in power, by the powerful people, that it has become a black law that we call in Bangladesh, a draconian law. So as I said, I think we should have a provision like that, but at the same time, in the last few months, I have gone on record calling for repeal of this clause because we've abused it. That means the state or the government doesn't have a mechanism to stop abuse of this law. Government has failed to do that. The ministers have used it, MPs have used it, powerful people, wealthy people, moneyed people have used it against. In some cases, the victims, or those who were sued, are actually guilty. In some cases, in most cases, they're not. My point is, we need something like this, but when it's open to abuse, and government fails to do anything about it, to stop that kind of abuse, then it has to be repealed. Thank you.
Any question?
Any more? Any more?
First of all, I'm giving thanks to London Bangla Press Club, who have arranged holding today's program, 100 years of Bengali media in UK. So my question is, and as you said, not only whoever is in the power, they are abusing somewhere the media. But do you think is it because of the freedom of speech or writing, whatever, as a social media nowadays is not particularly print media. So whoever working, as a journalist, they are writing whatever they want without follow the ethics of journalism. Some of. So do you think even journalists are abusing that kind of things, law or freedom of writing, whatever? They are abusing because they got the pen. Thank you.
Yes, I agree with you. Yes, journalists are also abusing their power. We have a very bad habit of abusing our freedom, and which is why, as I said in my statement earlier, which is why often our freedom is carved. So, yes, we need regulation, proper regulation. Problem is, when I think of a regulatory authority, I cannot find one person who would be good enough to head that regulatory authority. The biggest challenge today in Bangladesh is to find people who can man these regulatory institutions. The system does not create people like that. Look at Bangladesh Bank. We cannot find a proper governor for Bangladesh Bank. We cannot find a chairman or the members of Securities and Exchange Commission. It's a very important regulatory institution. Our insurance companies, our food and beverage industry. We've been talking about an institution like FDA for quite some time now. We've not been able to put in place anything. FDA of USA, Food and Drug Administration. So we have for some reason, we have not been able to strengthen or build or create these institutions properly because of lack of manpower. You have not invested in our education. Your original question was freedom. Yeah. Let me tell you. Let me give you an example or remind you of one incident or example in UK. Years ago, several years ago, when you had this riot in London and other places, do you remember? 2 youngsters in their early 20s were jailed for 4 years. They created an event on Facebook and asked people to assemble somewhere near a McDonald's restaurant. No one turned up other than some police officers. These 2 youngsters were arrested, and the Crown Prosecution Service thought it proper to prosecute them, and they're prosecuted and they're convicted, and they were jailed for 4 years. They did not do anything. In Bangladesh, everyone thinks they can do anything on Facebook and still get away with it. There's a lack of understanding, lack of education, and it's the responsibility of the government to educate us, to make us aware of such issues. Everyone is learning. This isn't such a new thing. Everyone is learning. I remember a meeting with the chair of the Home Affairs Select Committee a few years ago, Keith Vaz. Earlier in the day, I had watched from the stands, from the gallery, a debate on such issues. And I asked him during the dinner, so Keith, what are your thoughts? How do you handle this? 'Cause I don't know. I'm meeting, it's a coincidence, as I'm having dinner with you, and I'm meeting the head of Google of UK tomorrow morning. I'll ask him. We'll discuss it. In about a few months, you had this law passed. The top policymakers had no clue about how to go about fighting these problems, and we had this law on what porn? Revenge porn. So these are all new issues, but we have to move quickly. We have to learn. We have to educate ourselves. We have to learn from each other. In Bangladesh, these things don't happen so quickly. There are a lot of good things that are happening in Bangladesh. I wouldn't say that nothing happens in Bangladesh, but we could have moved faster. Thank you.
So, question from them.
Yeah.
Soksana. What question about Bangladesh?
Firstly, thank you for a riveting talk. I've been completely enraptured by what everybody's been saying. I'm not on social media because I refuse to listen to people's rubbish. And that's a choice I make simply because when I time and time hear self-made artificial or alternative facts, it just makes me angry. So for me, a choice I make is I don't listen to it. However, that's almost like sticking my head in the sand and saying I don't want to see the world. I just want to concentrate slightly on the UK and just ask a question to the London Bangla Press Club, and looking forward towards the next 100 years, about the second generation and what opportunities the London Bangla Press Club is hosting in terms of training up the next journalists, the next voices, the next Jeremy Paxman, the next sort of Kate AD. What are we doing as a community to get these voices out there? Because certainly giving awards to everybody is nice and recognizing that achievement, but how can we do something that's actually very tangible? And that's to the whole panel.
I think I would like to reiterate the same question to the panel, because obviously the topic is 100 years of Bengali media in the UK. So that's why we need to concentrate. Obviously, Sattar Bhai has spoke about the challenges as well as opportunities, and we would like to hope that next 100 years Bangla media will make its journey from strength to strength. But at the same time, we need to be mindful of those challenges and what we need to be doing. So London Bangla Press Club being in the forefront of doing that job, what are your thoughts? What are your plans to take Bangla media forward and take the community with you as well?
Thank you. I think it's a valid question that how we get the second or third generation involved in the media. See, when London Bangla Press Club started, it was started with a few Bengali newspapers. Now we have over 300 members, not only journalists, but they're all a lot of media workers working in different medias, not only on newspapers, in other sectors as well. Although, because of the language barrier, we fail to get our second generation involved. They don't read Bengali newspaper. It's our readerships are mainly, people of the generation who has come from Bangladesh or students and housewives and others. But on the other hand, there are so many TV channels. There are about 7 TV channels, 7, 8. It has created a platform for the second generations to work on the television channels on different section of the technical sections and other things. And it has, yeah, including English-speaking program. And it has created a platform. And in fact, a lot of them this is their first steps, working on a TV station, maybe ethnic TV station, and they're moving on from those TV stations to the mainstream, either mainstream media or mainstream bigger organization, So it is creating an opportunity for those younger generation, a lot of us, people who work in a lot of businesses, restaurants and other things, they dream of owning a business at some point of life. So exactly, people who are working in any of the TV channels, any of the Bengali TV channels or even radio, it is creating an opportunity for them to go into the bigger field. So we hope London Bangla Press Club also get more and more younger generation involved somewhere or other, or encourage them to go into the mainstream. But apart from not only on London Bangla Press Club, there are a lot of Bengalis working in the, they are not involved with the London Bangla Press Club, but they are working in the mainstream newspapers and televisions, which we intend to get them involved in future to, train even like older generation like us. Thank you.
Can I say something to that? Creating, training the next Jeremy Paxman, it has to be done by the mainstream media.
Any more? বাংলায় হোক এইসব কোনো অসুবিধা নেই।
খালিদের কাছে আমার একটি প্রশ্ন। প্রশ্নটা হচ্ছে, আমরা অতীতের দিকে যখন চোখ তাকাই তখন দেখি রাষ্ট্রভাষা আন্দোলন, সেই আন্দোলনের দিক নির্দেশনা দিয়েছে সংবাদপত্র। 69-এর গণ আন্দোলনের দিক নির্দেশনা দিয়েছে সংবাদপত্র। রাজনীতি যখনই জনমানুষের রাজনীতি ফেল করছে তখনই সংবাদপত্র এগিয়ে আসছে জনগণের মধ্যে। এমনকি সামরিক স্বৈরশাসক বিরোধী আন্দোলনেও বাংলাদেশের সংবাদপত্র যে ভূমিকা এবং আন্দোলনকে নিয়ে যাওয়ার জন্য যে দায়িত্বশীল ভূমিকা পালন করছে, সেজন্য জনগণের আন্দোলন গ্রহণ করছে, জনগণ একত্রিত হতে পারছে। আজকে বাংলাদেশে 41টা টিভি, হাজার দৈনিক সংবাদপত্র, অনলাইন সংবাদপত্র, কিন্তু আপনিও বলবেন আমিও বলবো বাংলাদেশে চরম রাজনৈতিক সংকট চলছে। সেই সংকটের জন্য উত্তরণের জন্য আমরা বাংলাদেশে কোনো মিডিয়াকে এগিয়ে আসতে দেখি না কেন? সেটা কি দুর্বলতা, না তফজ্জুল হোসেন মানিক মিয়া বলেন, জহুর হোসেন চৌধুরী বলেন, সন্তোষ গুপ্ত বলেন, এদের মতো গর্জে কেউ উঠে না কেন? সবাই নীরব কেন? তবে কি কর্পোরেটেড সংবাদপত্রের কাছে সবাই বিক্রি হয়ে যাচ্ছে? এটাই আমার প্রশ্ন। ধন্যবাদ।
এটা ঠিক যে 1952 কিংবা 1969 কিংবা তারপরে সামরিক শাসন বিরোধী আন্দোলনগুলোতে গণমাধ্যমের একটা ভূমিকা ছিল, ভালো ভূমিকা ছিল। কিন্তু গণমাধ্যমের সেই ভূমিকাটা ছিল তখনকার রাজনৈতিক নেতৃত্বের কর্মকাণ্ড, চিন্তা চেতনা, সেটার একটা প্রতিফলন। তাদের কাজের প্রতিচ্ছবি আমরা দেখেছিলাম সংবাদপত্রের পাতায়। আপনি যে 3 জনের নাম বলেছেন তারা সবাই কলাম লিখতেন। তাদেরকে ছোট করার জন্য বলছি না, এই দেশেরই একজন অত্যন্ত খ্যাতনামা সম্পাদক, গার্ডিয়ানের সাবেক এক সম্পাদক বলেছিলেন, কমেন্ট ইজ চিপ, ইনফরমেশন ইজ ভেরি এক্সপেন্সিভ। একটু রিফ্রেজ করে বলেছি, একটু ডিফারেন্ট ভাষায় উনি হয়তো বলেছিলেন। মন্তব্য করা খুব সহজ, কিন্তু তথ্য যাচাই বাছাই করে উপবেশন করাটা কঠিন কাজ, এবং সেটা অনেক কষ্টসাধ্য শুধু নয়, ব্যয়বহুলও বটে। এই ব্যক্তিরা তখনকার রাজনৈতিক নেতৃত্বের কর্মকাণ্ড, তাদের আশাকাঙ্ক্ষা, তখনকার মানুষের আশাকাঙ্ক্ষাকে ধারণ করে সেটা প্রকাশ করেছিলেন তাদের লেখনীতে। এটিই ছিল। আপনি যদি পুরনো দিনের পত্রিকাগুলো বার করেন, সাংবাদিকতার ব্যাকরণ অনুযায়ী খুব ভালো সাংবাদিকতা তারা করেননি। আমরা যাদেরকে খুব পূজা করি অনেক বড় সাংবাদিক হিসেবে, আপনি যদি তাদের লেখাগুলো এখন বেছে বেছে পড়ে এবং সাংবাদিকতার ব্যাকরণ নিয়ে তখনকারও প্রচলিত ব্যাকরণ, এখনকারও প্রচলিত ব্যাকরণ, আপনি বলবেন যে খুব ভালো মানের সাংবাদিকতা তারা করেননি। তখন আমরা সেগুলোকে প্রশংসা করেছি, পছন্দ করেছি, এবং নিজেদের বলে বিশ্বাস করেছি যে এর চেয়ে ভালো কিছু হয় না, কারণ আমরা তারা যা লিখেছেন সেই জিনিসটি আমরা চাইতাম। আমাদের আশা আকাঙ্ক্ষাকে তারা ধারণ করেছিলেন। আমার কথা হচ্ছে গণমাধ্যমের কাজটা কি? গণমাধ্যমের কাজটা হচ্ছে একটা তো অবশ্যই খবর দেয়া, টু ইনফর্ম, এডুকেট অ্যান্ড এন্টারটেইন, মানুষকে অ্যাকাউন্টেবল করা, জবাবদিহির সম্মুখীন করা। সেই কাজটি আমরা করছি কিনা? সেই কাজগুলো কিন্তু আমরা সবসময় যে ভালোভাবে করি বা করতে পারি তা নয়। তখনও কিন্তু এই যে আপনি যদি 100 বছরের এই ইতিহাস দেখেন, আমি গতকাল রাতে খুব দ্রুত গতিতে পড়েছি, এই ভদ্রলোক যিনি এই গবেষণা করেছেন, ভালো গবেষণা করেছেন আমার কাছে মনে হয়। সেখানে কিন্তু আছে প্রথম দুটি বাদ দিয়ে, যে দুটি কোনটা 2 সংখ্যা টিকেছে, কোনটি বেশি দিন টেকেনি, বাকিরা সবাই কিন্তু অনেকেই কিন্তু লেজুর বৃত্তি করেছে। প্রয়োজন ছিল না, তারপরে লেজুর বৃত্তি করেছে। কারণ প্রয়োজন ছিল কাদের? ক্ষমতাসীনদের প্রয়োজন ছিল, তাদের পক্ষে কাজ করেছে। আপনি যখনকার সময়ের কথা বলছেন তখন কিন্তু কেউ অন্য পক্ষেও ছিল, দুপক্ষ সবসময় থেকেছে। এখনকার সময়ের কথা যদি আমি সংক্ষেপে বলার চেষ্টা করছি, এখনকার সময় যেটা আছে, এখনও দুপক্ষ আছে। কেউ সত্যি সত্যি ভালো কাজ করেন, সাহসের সঙ্গে কাজ করেন, কোনোভাবেই কারোর সঙ্গে, এস্টাবলিশমেন্টের সঙ্গে আপোষ করেন না, কেউ আপোষ করার জন্য বসে থাকেন। এটি সবসময় ছিল। আমাদের যেটা দেখতে হবে যে আমরা যথেষ্ট করছি কি না। এখন হ্যাঁ, কর্পোরেট সাংবাদিকতার কথা বলছেন, মাস শেষে বেতনটা দিতে হয় সবাইকে। আমি 2-3টে গণমাধ্যম চালিয়েছি, বাংলাদেশে একটি টেলিভিশন চ্যানেল যেটি সবচেয়ে আধুনিক বলে পরিচিত, সবাই জানে, সেটি তৈরির সঙ্গে আমি জড়িত ছিলাম। অ্যাক্রস দ্য মিডিয়া তিন ধরনের গণমাধ্যমে কাজ করার অভিজ্ঞতা আছে। শেষে কিন্তু মাস শেষে সবচেয়ে আদর্শবাদী সাংবাদিকটিও বলে আমার কিন্তু বাড়ি ভাড়াটা দিতে হবে, আমার কিন্তু ছেলের স্কুলের বেতন রয়ে গেছে। কাজেই বাণিজ্যের ব্যাপারগুলো দেখতে হবে, সেখানে আপনি কতটা সৎভাবে কাজ করবেন সেইটি হচ্ছে বিষয়। এখন পুরো সমাজ যখন অসৎ হয়ে যায়, সমস্যা তৈরি করে, তখন সৎভাবে কাজ করা কঠিন হয়ে যায়। আমি আমাদের উদাহরণ দিতে পারি, যে কোনো হিসেবে আমরা লার্জেস্ট নিউজ পাবলিশার, পত্রিকার হিসেবে, টেলিভিশনের হিসেবে, এর চেয়ে বেশি সংখ্যক লোকের কাছে আর কেউ পৌঁছয় না, কিন্তু আমরা কিন্তু দারিদ্র্যের মধ্যে থাকি। এর কারণ হচ্ছে বাংলাদেশে, যেটা আমি একটু আগে প্রথম প্রশ্ন জবাব দিতে গিয়ে বলেছি, যে মিডিয়া বাইং ইন্ডাস্ট্রিতে যে দুর্নীতি আছে, অসম্ভব দুর্নীতি আছে। আপনারা যাদেরকে খুব আদর্শবাদী মানুষ মনে করেন, তারা নাটক করেন, শিল্প সাহিত্যের চর্চা করেন, তখন তারা গলায় অন্যরকম জিনিস পেঁচিয়ে কথাবার্তা বলেন, কিন্তু তারা সবচেয়ে বড় দুর্নীতি করেন। যদি চান আমি নাম বলে দেবো আপনাকে একটু পরে। আমি এটি সম্ভবত প্রচার করা হচ্ছে, এটা বলাটা ঠিক হবে কিনা জানি না, কিন্তু আমি কিন্তু বলতে পারি, নামও বলতে পারি, এবং বললে আমি সেটা ডিফেন্ড করতে পারবো। ওরা যদি বাংলাদেশে বা বিলেতের কোনো কোর্টে যদি আমার বিরুদ্ধে মানহানি মামলা করে, আই উইল বি এবল টু ডিফেন্ড ইট। আমি এটা নিয়ে বলি প্রকাশ্যে। কাজেই সাংবাদিকতার মান নিয়ে সমস্যা সবসময় ছিল, থাকবে। বিলেতের সাংবাদিকতার মান নিয়ে সমস্যা আছে, মার্কিন যুক্তরাষ্ট্রের সাংবাদিকতার মান নিয়ে সমস্যা। আপনি স্কাই টিভি কী করে, আপনি কী করে, ওই যে স্কাইয়ের সিস্টার কনসার্ন ফক্স, ওটা কী কাজ করে ওগুলো? এই দেশে সান কি ছাপে? কাজেই সাংবাদিকতার সমস্যা আছে। আমি গত নির্বাচনের সময় এখানে ছিলাম, প্রকাশ্যে সমর্থন করছে, তো এখানকার রীতি অনুযায়ী প্রকাশ্যে সমর্থন করছে, কিন্তু মিথ্যে কথা বানিয়ে গল্প বলা, সেটা তো সাংবাদিকতার কাজ নয়। সে কাজগুলো বাংলাদেশে কম বেশি হয়, ঢালাওভাবে হয় কিনা সেটা দেখতে হবে। সাংবাদিকতায় গত 20-25 বছরে অনেক শিক্ষিত ভালো ছেলে পেলে এসছে সাংবাদিকতায়। এখন আগে যেমন সাংবাদিক মানেই ছিল হচ্ছে, সন্তোষ দাকে আমি ব্যক্তিগতভাবে চিনতাম, তার সঙ্গে জাতীয় সংসদের যে ক্যাফেটেরিয়া, সেখানে বসে অনেক গল্প করেছি, আড্ডা মেরেছি। চমৎকার মানুষ, একসময় রিপোর্টিং করেছেন, তারপরে কলাম লিখতেন। রিপোর্টাররা তাকে খুব ভয় পেতেন, যে কারণে আমরা তার সামনেই বলতাম সন্তোষ দাকে তো আমরা বলি সন্ত্রাস দা, আমরা সন্তুষ্ট থাকি সন্তোষ দার বকা খাবার জন্যে। সন্তোষ দার কাছ থেকে আমরা অনেক কিছু শিখেছি। তিনি শেষ বয়সে যেটা করতেন, গ্যালারি থেকে বসে যা দেখতেন তার মতামতটা লিখতেন, সেটা পড়তে ভালো লাগতো। তার অভিজ্ঞতা দিয়ে তিনি অনেক কিছু করে গেছেন। তারা এক ধরনের কাজ করেছেন, কিন্তু আরেক ধরনের কাজ তার তরুণ সহকর্মী যেটি করতেন সেটিও প্রয়োজন ছিল। সংসদে আসলে কি বিষয় নিয়ে বিতর্ক হলো, কে কোন প্রেক্ষিতে কোন সময়ে কি বললেন, এখানে সংসদ তখন কাভার করতেন এরকম লোকজনও বসে আছেন, হাসান ভাই আছেন, দীর্ঘদিন সংসদ কাভার করেছেন। রিপোর্টারদের মতো কাজ করে যান। বাংলাদেশের গণমাধ্যমের মূল সমস্যা হচ্ছে মালিকানায়। সাংবাদিকদের মধ্যে যতটা না সমস্যা, সাংবাদিকরা অবশ্যই লোভের মুখে পড়েন, লোভে ওই মন্ত্রীর কথা শুনে কাজ করেন, ওই ব্যবসায়ীর কথা শুনে কাজ করেন, সেগুলো আছে। অসততা শুধু নেই, প্রচুর পরিমাণে আছে। কিন্তু মূল সমস্যা হচ্ছে মালিকানা। কাদের হাতে মালিকানা তুলে দিয়েছেন এই রাজনীতিকরা? টেলিভিশন চ্যানেলের মালিকানা এবং নিয়ন্ত্রণ, ব্যবস্থাপনা নিয়ন্ত্রণ, অযোগ্য লোকজন, যে কারণে টেলিভিশনে উদ্ভর সব জিনিসপত্র যায়। কাদের হাতে সংবাদপত্রের মালিকানা? 1999 সালে কমনওয়েলথ এডিটর সিম্পোজিয়ামে আমি বাংলাদেশের প্রতিনিধিত্ব করছিলাম, ডারবানে একটি সেইখানে এই কথাগুলি বলেছিলাম, যে বাংলাদেশের প্রবলেম হচ্ছে ওনারশিপ প্যাটার্ন। যে ধারায় মালিকানার যে ধারা, যে ধরনের লোকজন মালিক এবং নিয়ন্ত্রণ করেন, এবং মালিক হয়ে তারা কি করেন, নিজেকে সম্পাদক হিসেবে নিয়োগ দেন, নিজেকে সংবাদক হিসেবে নিয়োগ দেন। ওরা শুধু সামরিক শাসকরা করেন, নিজে প্রেসিডেন্ট হয়ে নিজেকেই মেজর জেনারেল থেকে লেফটেন্যান্ট জেনারেল বানান, কেউ তার চেয়ে তারও কিছু বানান। তো এই বাংলাদেশের সংবাদপত্র মালিকেরাও কিন্তু সামরিক শাসকদের মতো আচরণ করেন। কিন্তু আমরা এই বিষয়টা ঠিক করতে হলে রাজনীতিকদের সঙ্গে আলোচনায় যেতে হবে, রাজনীতিকদের সাথে ইন্টারাকশন এবং বাড়াতে হবে। গণমাধ্যমের কিন্তু আপনি যদি সোসাইটি অফ প্রফেশনাল জার্নালিস্ট, যে সান ফ্রান্সিসকো বেসড একটা আছে, তাদের কিছু ধারা আছে, তারা কিছু ঘোষণা আছে, ডেক্লারেশন আছে, অনেকটা ইউনিভার্সাল ডেক্লারেশন অফ হিউম্যান রাইটসের মতো, অনেকটা ম্যাগনা কার্টার মতো। দেখবেন যে একটা মূল জিনিস কিন্তু একটা আছে, যে এক গণমাধ্যম আরেক গণমাধ্যমের ওপর নজরদারি করবে। বাংলাদেশে সেটা করতে গেলে বলে যে কাকের মাংস খায় না। আমরা সেটা করেছি, করে শত্রু বানিয়েছি, কিন্তু শত্রুরা কিছু করতে পারেননি। এই কাজগুলো করতে হবে। আপনারা কি এইখানে যারা কাজ করেন তারা কি করেন? আপনারা দেখবেন যে আরেকজনের বিরুদ্ধে পেছনে কথা বলবেন, কিন্তু সামনে যেয়ে কিন্তু বলবেন না। বলা হয় না যে এটি একটি অসত্য খবর দেওয়া হয়েছে, এখানে সাংবাদিকতা নীতিমালা ভঙ্গ করা হয়েছে। এই কাজগুলো আমাদের করতে হবে যার যার অবস্থান থেকে। থ্যাংক ইউ।
আর প্রশ্ন আছে কেউ?
ধন্যবাদ। আমি আসলে নাহাস ভাইয়ের কাছে প্রশ্ন ছিল যে আমরা বাংলা মিডিয়া কী করেছে, এই সঙ্গে আমি একটা জিনিস অ্যাড করতে চাই। আমরা সবাই বলি যে বাংলা মিডিয়া এদেশে মেইনস্ট্রিম রাজনীতিতে, বিশেষ করে আমাদের যে পার্লামেন্টে যারা গেছেন তাদের জন্য আমরা কাজ করেছি। তো সবাই মনে করি যে হয়তো এই রূপা হোক, রোশনারা বা আরও যিনি টিউলিপ হয়েছেন তার পিছনে, কিন্তু এর আগেও হয়েছে। বাংলা মিডিয়া নাহাস ভাই উপস্থিত আছেন, এর আগেও এই ক্যাম্পেইনে বাঙালি এমপির ক্যাম্পেইনে যখন পলাউদ্দিন ক্যাম্পেইনে শর্টলিস্টেড হলেন এবং তিনি গেলেন, তখন বাংলা মিডিয়ার পক্ষ থেকে একটা ক্যাম্পেইন কমিটি করে সরাসরি তার পক্ষে কাজ করা হয়েছে। তার আগে জালালউদ্দিনকে, রাজনুদ্দিন জালালকে বাদ দেওয়া হলো শর্টলিস্ট থেকে, তখনও কাজ করেছে। পিটার শুন 1997 যখন বললেন যে আমি আর আসবো না ইলেকশনে, তখন থেকেই শুরু হয়েছে বাঙালি এমপি নির্বাচনের ক্যাম্পেইন। সুতরাং এই বাংলা মিডিয়া এবং বাংলার পত্রিকা সরাসরি, যেটা আমার অতিথি বললেন যে এদেশে করেছে, বাংলা পত্রিকা তখন কমিউনিটি পত্রিকা হিসাবে সরাসরি কাজ করেছে। এদেশের পত্রিকার ভূমিকা আরও অনেক আছে। আজকে হয়তো সময় কম, আমরা আরও ভবিষ্যতে আলাপ করব। ধন্যবাদ আপনাদের সবাইকে।
এইখানে তো একটা বিষয় বলেছেন বারবার যে গবেষক মাহবুব রহমান লিখেছেন, মাহবুব রহমান প্রবন্ধ লিখেছেন, কিন্তু এখানে আমাদের একজন গবেষক আছেন যে এই যে পত্রপত্রিকাগুলো দেখছেন সবই কিন্তু তার সংগ্রহ। আমি আসলে তিনি সত্যিকারভাবে বিলেতে বাংলা মিডিয়ার উপর গবেষণা করেছেন। এখানে আমাদের ফারুক ভাই বসা আছেন, ফারুক আহমেদ ফারুক ভাই কিন্তু একটা অসাধারণ কাজ করেছেন এইখানে। হ্যাঁ, উনি বাংলা মিডিয়ার উপর গবেষণা করে এই যে শত বছরের অনেকগুলো পত্রপত্রিকা কিন্তু পুরানো, ওগুলো ওনারই সংগ্রহ। আমরা যতবারই অনুষ্ঠান করি এইগুলো ফারুক ভাইয়ের কাছ থেকে নিয়ে এসে আমরা প্রদর্শন করি। আরেকটি কাজ করেছেন ফারুক ভাই, বিলেতে বাঙালি রাজনীতির উপরও গবেষণা করে একটা বই লিখেছেন, যেটা আমি আশা করব ফারুক ভাই, আমি আগে আপনাকে বলতে পারি নাই, আপনাকে এই দুটি বই যদি থাকে আপনার কাছ থেকে আমি কিনে নেব, যাতে তৌফিক ভাইকে দিতে পারি, যে দিলে যেটা বাংলাদেশেও মানুষ জানতে পারবে বিলেতের বাঙালিদের রাজনীতি এবং এই বাংলা সংবাদপত্রের ইতিহাস সম্পর্কে। তো ধন্যবাদ ফারুক ভাই আপনাকে আবারও আমাদেরকে সহযোগিতা করার জন্য। আর আপনারা যারা এসেছেন সবাইকে ধন্যবাদ। আমি টাওয়ার হামলেস কাউন্সিলকেও ধন্যবাদ জানাই, রুকসানা ফর গেটিং আস ইনভলভ, এবং maybe in future also we can do something together with Tower Hamlets. I know that you always say there is no funding. Thank you. ভবিষ্যতে যাতে ফান্ডিং থাকে, আমাদেরকে ওই ফান্ডিংয়ের ইয়েতে এই সাইডে রাখা হয়। I hope so that we can get some money to do a bigger program, and I thank you all of you for spending that. I hope you enjoy it. এবং আমি এখানে LB24কেও ধন্যবাদ জানাই যে LB24 লাইভ অনুষ্ঠানটি প্রচার করেছে। বিশেষ করে LB24 এখন খুবই অ্যাক্টিভ দেখা যাচ্ছে। আর আমার পাশে আমার সেক্রেটারি, তাকেও অনেক ধন্যবাদ। সেক্রেটারি অনেক কাজ করেছেন। আমি যদিও অনুষ্ঠানের উদ্যোগ নিয়ে আমি বাংলাদেশে চলে গেছিলাম, সাত্তার ভাই সারা রাত জেগে সকালে আমাকে লেখাটি পাঠিয়ে উনি ঘুমাতে যান। ধন্যবাদ সাত্তার ভাই ফর ইয়ানা, অ্যান্ড সবাইকে ধন্যবাদ। আমি মনে করি মাহবুব রহমান অলসো কাজ করেছেন, আমাদের ভাইস প্রেসিডেন্ট। মাহবুবের কথা এসেছে এখানে প্রসঙ্গে, আসতে পারেন নাই। ধন্যবাদ, অ্যান্ড উই হোপ টু সি ইউ অ্যাগেইন সুন। ধন্যবাদ।
I just need to say a few words. Thank you so much for coming. It's been an absolute privilege having you here, and it is a beginning of a new relationship. We will be doing something. I'm the poor cousin of the rest of the council, which means that I never have money. So this is the reason why I go. I have no money because nobody gives it to me. We are the arts team, not the other team, but we can put joint applications together. I know funders, which means we can do things that are going to be amazing. And I think you guys have, particularly the London Bangla Press Club, and the media is an important voice that needs to be out there, and also generating young people to come and join this conversation. A season of Bangla drama is here for the rest of the month. You guys have been absolutely really supportive, but we need even more support. Tomorrow we're back here in this very place. Arif and his team are going to be doing a talk about Rohingya, the forgotten Bengalis with a question mark. Please do come and to this event. Please spread the word. We do need your support because we are a fringe festival. We're not mainstream, which means we need your support to spread the word out there. I'm doing my bits. I'm booking the JC decos. I'm booking the bus stops. I'm doing as much as I can. But we need your support. So thank you so much. If I've forgotten anybody, please, thank you so much. And we hope to see you again. Thank you.